Chump, I'm talking to you. What, you deaf or something? Talking to the fucking air.
My name ain't Chump, it's Billy Hoyle.
Billy Hoyle.
Billy Hoyle.
Billy Hoyle. Okay, Billy. Now, can you count to 10, Billy?
Yeah.
Good. What's the score, Billy?
I don't know.
Then you're a chump.
Woohoo! All right. Welcome to Fantasy Sports Addicts Anonymous. My name is Tom. I'm a fantasy sports addict. Got the camera on. Good stuff. Yeah! All right. Today I'm here to talk about the Billy Hoyle team I just drafted. That's right. I drafted the Billy Hoyle team. Some of you might be wondering, what is a Billy Hoyle team? Well, if you've seen White Men Can't Jump and you know who Woody Harrelson is, then you probably know what I'm talking about when I talk about a Billy Hoyle team. More modern reference would be maybe a La Flama Blanca, or the common vernacular, I suppose, would be the all-white fantasy basketball team. Okay, now before we get too far off on the path of what that sounds like, let me just remind everybody that that was not the intent. That's never the intent. Our intent is merely analytical purposes, how to build the best team possible. We've all been in those drafts where you got some smart-ass motherfucker or some racist piece of shit that tries to do the all-white team and just either fucks up the draft or fucks their team up, wastes a team, or, you know, they're just trying to rile people up. Well, that wasn't the intent here. What I wanted to do is build the best, basically all Caucasian fantasy basketball team that I could. And, you know, I thought about it. When you think about rankings, where is the first white guy? Well, it's usually Kristaps Porzingis or maybe Nikola Jokic, whatever. They, you know, third round, roughly, mid-third. So I'm thinking, you know, most of the players I like or I would want are in that sort of range. So the best way I'm going to do this is with an auction draft. So I got into an auction draft, and I thought, you know, if I spend my money wisely and carefully and spread it out, if it's the spread out auction strategy instead of like, you know, stars and scrubs, I'm going to spend my money across the third and fifth rounds or so of this draft. And I ended up doing that pretty well. I feel like I got a pretty well-rounded team. And, you know, for a midday public auction draft with 12 teams, wasn't bad turnout. 10 teams were there. And, of course, you know, we had our, you know, couple common motherfuckers who were, you know, the experts in the room. And they had the typical like comment for every draft pick and, you know, comment about how much money was spent when, and that whole discussion about how, oh, well, everyone's players suck except for theirs somehow. So, you know, in this draft, they were sitting there, you know, they're trying to solve all the world's mysteries for everyone. And in this draft, they're basically just sitting there, you know, working on mysteries without any clues. And I'm humming a song from 1962. Yeah, a little Bob Seger reference for you there. Hell yeah. That's right. I was working on my my night moves. And in this case, I guess it was white moves, if you'll pardon the pun there. Let me just show you my team before I get too far off track. This is the La Flama Blanca Billy Hoyle team that I was able to draft in the auction draft. And I'm pretty proud of it. It's fairly well-rounded. It represents my my well-rounded roto style, if you will. Normally, most people know I like to draft as much of a well-rounded team as possible. And with something like a novelty team, which is what this is, just purely an exercise in how good of a drafter or manager I might be. And I did come away with what I like as a well-rounded team. Now, you'll notice there are a lot of names I don't normally draft, I don't normally like. So there's a lot of, you know, injury risk, bust risk type players. There's also a good number of known quantities, guys I do like, and then, you know, players with upside, you know, like a Steven Adams. So let's just run through it real quick. I don't have a very point guard heavy team. I was hoping to maybe get one more later in the draft, but that didn't work out. I ended up with Robin Lopez, but I'm confident with that. So basically, I got Rubio and Dragic as my point guards. The rest of the team, Gordon Hayward, Evan Fournier, Danilo Gallinari, Now, obviously, Hayward and Gallinari, big injury risks, but when they're healthy, they're good. I know Hayward's out 4 to 6 weeks to start the season, so that's obviously not ideal, and I didn't like how much I had to spend on him, Hayward, that is. And Hayward's, when he's healthy, he'll be fine. I'll take the threes. But, of course, my front court's pretty nice. I like that. Kristaps Porzingis, Dirk Nowitzki. You got if you're doing the La Flama Blanca, Billy Hoyle, all white team, you have to have Dirk Nowitzki. I mean, how do you not? So Kristaps, Dirk, Kevin Love, Brook Lopez, another 2 guys I wouldn't normally draft. And again, Dragic. I like Dragic this year. Ryan Anderson, I like this year with D'Antoni's system. Steven Adams looks like a breakout candidate, same sort of for Yusuf Nurkic. And then good old trusty but not sexy Robin Lopez, perfect pair for Brook Lopez. And I figured with some of the injury risk, I had to shore up situations and get a little depth. But the beauty of this team is that I actually have players ranked from 35 to 85, essentially. So I have no players ranked out of the top 100. I also don't have any superstars, as you can see. Maybe Porzingis steps up a little bit more this year. But, I'll take all this at face value. I came away with what I feel like is a pretty good team. And what's ironic is that a couple of the managers figured this out through midway through the draft and just started. It was auction. So instead of, bidding up bots or whatever, they were just nominating players they weren't going to take that they knew I was taking. So I basically was spoon-fed this team. And I got everybody I wanted at basically face value, slightly above, or what made slightly above possible was, below value. So I'm happy with that, and I think it represents a well-rounded team, and I think it represents one of those spend wisely auction drafts. And I think Yahoo's standings agree with me, right in the middle of the playoff pack here. These are, of course, it's a head-to-head league, but this is talking about, standings based on rotisserie. So I feel like this is a competitive team, certainly at least a playoff team. The first place team is pretty good. But what's funny is this Stinky in 7.5 or whatever, he was one of the talkers, if you'll allow that. And he was calling his shot, but his bench is full of actual bench players. And whereas my bench is full of starters. So that's why you don't call your shot in a draft. And honestly, this is why I love auction. Like if you're doing an auction draft, it's just, you can get everybody you want. There's no reason you can't get the players you want. And I don't feel like I would have been able to pull off this strategy or draft that team without doing an auction draft just because of the way the players were ranked. Had I done Snake, they wouldn't have been there for me. So, yeah, interesting strategy. Good managers like a decent challenge, and I feel like when I don't draft a player ranked before 35 or 36, that, that's a challenge. So here we go, novelty team. Let's see how it plays out. I'm hopeful I'll at least be a playoff team. So, anyways, let's hit the Fantasy Sports Serenity Prayer. Coming up next, I'll show you my all-world team. That's another one of my novelty draft strategies. I won't show you the whole draft, but the team. Fantasy gods, please grant me the serenity to set my ideal lineup, the courage to add drop aggressively, the wisdom, as always, to make good trades. Amen. Now, if you got any complaints or comments or suggestions about this team, let me know. Obviously, I'm going to have a little work to do on the waiver wire. It won't be easy, but and again, limited options. But, if you want to get yourself into a draft or come hang out, fantasysportsaddicts.com or hit us up on Twitter at letter F, letter S, the word double letter A, F is double A. Thank you. See you next time. We'll see you this weekend for the drafts.
What the hell do you keep calling me that for, dude? I don't even know what the fuck that means.
It means you, White Flame.
Me? White Flame? Nah, dude, that's lame as shit. Where the fuck did you hear that?
Stupid kid probably just made that up.
So fuck it. Now listen here, little hombre. I'll give you my autograph, but thou shalt not fuck up my branding. You hear me? I'm wearing all black, all right? Outlaws wear black. Fags and cocaine dealers wear white. Give me that.